up? What up? The chat's kind of slow, so I'm just telling you that right now, because right now I'm literally watching it and I'm like looking at my phone still and all that. But yeah, so the chat will say something and then yeah, like it's gonna take me forever to explain myself to you guys, because once you say something, like I see it, but then the freaking video takes forever. Okay. I know, it did take me a while. My bad. It did take me a while, but dang, it's 1:18 a.m. Okay. Well, that's crazy. But you guys want to watch this one or a different one? Here, we'll go. How do I don't know, bro. These don't have a lot of views, which is kind of like concerning me, you understand? Amani, it's okay.
Three friends had no idea that on this night,
darkest. I'm a girl. Where's my adding gain, admin? I'm not going to look at the chat so I can full screen the video. I bet. That's fine. Everybody please like the stream though still, you feel me? Cause why not? Is my face way too big? I feel like my face screen is way too big now. Yeah, that's kind of big, huh? It looks big. Should I be on the corner too? Should I be in the bottom corner? Should I be edgy? Bottom corner? Is it tough? Yeah. I don't know, boys. Is bottom corner tough or not?
Paris Catacombs.
We gonna watch. What are we gonna watch? I don't know. Let me get there. I don't know. I like a lot of them. Nick Crowley's a good one, bro. But I don't know, bro. Look, you see I watched a lot of these. Nick Crowley, I already watched all the Nick Crowley ones, so don't even worry about those. God damn it. The Dark Side of Reddit. Let's watch this one.
It's December 4th, 2003.
I'm gonna go try to get them to stop doing that.
A police officer walking in a local park in Arlington, Virginia, is approached by a concerned family, claiming that someone in a nearby neighborhood had been shooting off a flare gun. The officer could hear it too, and following the sound, he eventually found himself at the home of 56-year-old James Yu. The man lived alone in his half of this duplex, and was described by neighbors as a recluse known to exhibit unusual behavior. Across his social media, he made posts claiming that he was the victim of fraud at the hands of all sorts of government agencies, as he had a deep distrust of the US government as well as law enforcement, and he believed that numerous people were attempting to kill him, like his ex-wife, the FBI, and even his neighbors. His posts seemed entirely nonsensical, and so did many of his actions. In the months prior, he had covered up all of his windows with garbage bags and aluminum foil, and he even wrapped his trees in toilet paper. And though these actions are entirely harmless, on this day, things were becoming far more troubling. When police arrived at his home, Yu would be seen firing his flare gun out of his window and into the air, over and over again, and despite repeated attempts to get him to stop,
Arlington County Police! Stop shooting the flares! Mr. Yu!
He didn't let up, shooting 41 flares in the span of just 25 minutes. And he did it all with no explanation. In fact, he didn't even say a single word. Understandably, police were eager to get Yu out of his home for questioning, as at this point it wasn't obvious whether or not he was a threat. And so for hours and hours they called out to him, first asking and then demanding that he exit his home.
James, Arlington Police, come to the front door with your hands up.
What up, Audrey Ray? I definitely do feel bad for the cops. The cops do not be deserving this. I'll be watching body cam footage and everything. The cops don't be deserving things like this, you feel me? The cops, they're just trying to do good. But I can't help them.
But now, we have your building surrounded.
But still, there was no response. Growing impatient and worried that Yu might be planning something, the police would eventually bring in a specialized vehicle to bust down the door and spray the inside of the home with gas, all in an attempt to draw Yu outside.
James, stay away from your front door. Stay away from your front door, James.
And in response, Yu began firing once again. Only this time, he wasn't using flares. And instead, he was now yielding an actual gun. Thankfully, none of these shots connected, but with the situation becoming increasingly dangerous, the officers decided to fall back, as they carefully came up with a new plan for apprehending Yu. Though whatever they had been planning would never come to fruition.
Yeah.
In a split second, the home was gone, as a massive explosion rang out from inside the house, reducing the entire structure to rubble. Inside the house, Yu had stored 55 gallons of gasoline in his basement, which he saved for that moment to ignite with no warning.
No cap, definitely wasting ammo. Wasted resources, but this guy, bro, we'll see what this guy gotta do. Let me try my other light, because this light's kind of too bright. I feel like, oh, this one's not charged, though. Damn, never mind.
And no explanation. Based on the footage, it's been theorized that Yu's actions were an attempt to lure police into his home so that he could then set off this explosion and take them all out along with his neighbors, as he genuinely believed that both parties were conspiring to kill him. Though somehow, when the smoke cleared, no civilians or police officers had so much as been injured. All that was found in the rubble was the remnants of a single body. Though for a moment, this wasn't the end of James Yu's story. Before that body could be identified, reports across social media began emerging showing that James Yu was somehow still alive. After the blast, comments were being made on what appeared to be Yu's YouTube channel, where he stated that this whole thing was a cover-up and that he wasn't even inside the home when the standoff started, which, looking back, we never actually see him, and we also never hear his voice. Numerous posts pointing out this development would go viral and cause mass confusion about the story, which was only heightened when it was revealed that the body inside that building was in fact James Yu. Though in the end, it wasn't really as mysterious as some originally thought. As it turns out, the posts showing these comments failed to realize that this wasn't actually Yu's account, and instead it had a completely different username, with the account likely having been created as nothing more than a hoax. To this day though, there are some that still believe that this was all some sort of massive cover-up, but in reality it just seems that this was the result of a man gripped by crippling paranoia and loneliness, with it all coming to a head in what has gone on to become one of YouTube's darkest videos.
What y'all thinking? What y'all thinking? Is it tough? Is it fire? Is it unique? Alrighty.
The internet is a dark and disturbing frontier. This year alone, countless people have fallen victim to high-profile data breaches, raising serious concern about personal information security. Ticketmaster experienced a breach compromising over 560 million of their customer records. But most alarming of all, the National Public Data announced that they too had suffered a breach. And phone number, and its time data and record, prints, and manager, and be vulnerable to 2 weeks absolutely free, which will give Aura enough time to find out if any of your information has been exposed. There was really nothing else like it. This obscure 27,000 square foot structure allowed visitors to enter into what must have felt like another dimension. It was an exhibit called Dream Space, and was the creation of British artist Maurice Agus, a 74-year-old artistic visionary obsessed with the idea of creating large-scale surreal environments, and this was his magnum opus. The structure was inflatable, akin to a massive bounce house, and once inside, guests were confronted with a labyrinth of brightly colored walls and cells, twisting and turning into some sort of surreal maze that patrons were told to lose themselves in. This piece of art premiered back in 2004, and due to its inflatability, it was actually built to travel, making stops in major cities in the UK, before it was eventually set up at Riverside Park in Durham on the 22nd of June, 2006. The very next day, 68-year-old Elizabeth Collins would visit the area with her husband and her daughter, as well as her 14-year-old grandson. And spotting this unusual structure in the distance, Elizabeth's grandson insisted on checking it out, excitedly taking off his shoes and running inside. And while the rest of the group was more apprehensive about entering, Elizabeth eventually decided to accompany him, leaving her husband and daughter on the outside, though not before turning back to them and joking that she was going in to find peace and serenity. Outside, Elizabeth's husband and daughter sat at a nearby table and enjoyed a cup of tea whilst conversing about the events of the week, only for the man to turn his head and notice that Dream Space was slightly moving, to which he excitedly said, "Oh, it's a ride."
Oh hell no, it is not a ride. It is not a ride. If you're new here, please like the stream. I'm not sure who's here, who's not here, you feel me, no more. But if you're here, let me know you're here, because I feel like everybody left. But yeah.
"It's a ride. I wish I had gone on it." The daughter then turned her head to see the structure as it began to rise up off the ground, to which she chillingly responded, "It's not a ride."
Bet that. Hey Trey, appreciate you, bro. You a real one.
In that moment, Dream Space had snapped from its moorings and was blown into the air by a massive gust of wind. Agus just so happened to be standing at the entrance as it began to shift, and noticing what was happening, he grabbed on as he desperately tried to hold down his entire life's work, though clearly this was of no use. And after being lifted in the air, his grip failed, sending him falling back to the ground below, where he lay staring up at his creation that was now flying 30 feet above him.
Damn. All the people scattered.
Inside, there were as many as 30 people who were now being thrashed around this giant inflatable structure in a scene that I truly can't even imagine. The claustrophobia of it, the dizzying colors, the screams, it's genuinely one of the most horrific scenarios I've ever heard. The inflatable structure was airborne for well over a minute, folding into itself before finally crashing back down into a parking lot, leaving behind what was described by witnesses as a field of bodies. Worst of all, the majority of those in attendance were families with small children, with one 7-year-old girl recounting her experience, saying, "It was very scary and people were screaming. I saw a lady clinging on and then falling out, and then she was lying on her back with people around her. I think she died." This lady was most likely 68-year-old Elizabeth Collins, who had been ejected from the structure when it was in the air, with her injuries being catastrophic and unsurvivable. Of all the others now sprawled throughout this field of grass, most were left injured but thankfully not in serious condition, though this wasn't the case for 38-year-old Claire Vermege, who had been inside during the accident with her 2 children. And despite her kids surviving, she was sadly not so lucky, with Claire and Elizabeth being the sole fatalities of the incident. The video is terrifying, and though it's easy to say that this could have been so much worse, considering how many people were in dream space at the time, the consequences were still catastrophic, as it devastated 2 families and likely left many others at the scene traumatized for life, especially the young children. But how could this have happened? Well, that day was particularly warm, which likely caused the air inside the structure to expand, causing a hot air balloon-like effect, which was then exacerbated by sudden strong gusts of wind, which eventually caused the structure to go airborne, as in the end, it just wasn't properly secured for the conditions. Soon after the incident, Maurice Agus was arrested for manslaughter, though he would ultimately only end up paying a small fine, as he vowed to never create a large work again. Just a few years later, in 2009, Maurice Agus would pass away, with his legacy forever being defined by this devastating footage.
Think someone sued him?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
He
Serena.
got charged.
On October 2nd, 2006, police entered the home of 31-year-old Elaine Campione, where inside they found the woman speaking incoherently. Next to her was a VHS camera, depicting a series of disturbing events that had transpired within the home over the previous months and days, with the footage eventually finding its way onto YouTube.
Hi, Serena. It's August 8th, 2006. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
The tape starts with Elaine pointing her new camera at her daughter Serena. It was her 3rd birthday, and to celebrate, Elaine had left a brand new bike in the living room.
What is it?
It's a bike!
Days later, the footage continues, showing Serena once again as Elaine asks,
How does Mama love you?
This much.
Oh, I love you more than that. How much does your Mama love you?
Elaine then shows her other daughter Sophia, who was just a baby, before turning the camera on herself and showing the kids how the device worked.
Hi! See how the camcorder works?
That's a virus.
Look. Hi! Is that Mommy? Hi!
So far, the footage seems like nothing more than your standard family home videotape, and appears completely wholesome. Though with the next recording, the tone begins to shift, and things start to become slightly concerning.
This is a deplorable, horrible, messy, filthy apartment that supposedly my 2 children and I live in, and it's just a horrible, horrible mess. Yeah. I think Diego Campione is totally in the wrong, and I hope he burns in hell for all his sins, the same as Leonardo.
As Elaine shows the camera her home, she begins joking about how they are living in deplorable conditions, before randomly calling out 2 men who she says she hopes burn in hell, all while her children are in the same room. She starts to grow more and more agitated.
All I wanted to do was take care of my 2 little girls and live happily ever after the 3 years of physical, emotional, and mental abuse that I endured tremendously by Leonardo Campione, and then the past year from Anna and Diego Campione, the mental and emotional abuse.
Outright saying that she was abused by a man named Leonard Campione, who happened to be her ex-husband and the father of these children. And she goes on from there, with each moment clearly making the kids more and more anxious.
I want justice to my family for what they have all done to us. I cried out for help. They should have charged him for the assaults he did to me.
Eventually causing Elaine to snap out of it and stop the camera.
And my poor 3-year-old, I did everything to protect. And what are you saying, Sophia? What do you want?
The video then skips forward once more, with this footage being taken just days before the police were called, showing Serena coloring on the floor as Elaine asks,
Who loves ya?
Mommy.
Who loves you the most? That much? Oh, I think I love you more than that.
The scene that unfolds next was recorded on that very same night, just hours later.
Recording this because Leo and there, are you happy? Everything's gone. You wouldn't give peace. You wouldn't tell the truth. You didn't care about our babies. You didn't care about me. You cared about yourself. All you did was hurt us.
In the video, Elaine states that everything is gone.
What the heck does she mean? What is she talking about? Everything's gone. Boy. What's she talking about? What is she talking about?
As she speaks to Leo directly, accusing him of having ruined their lives with his constant abuse.
You are truly the devil. And I hate you. 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 And I want you to know how much I hate you.
Disturbingly, the children were nowhere to be seen in this footage, with Elaine eventually addressing them by saying,
God believes me. And God's taking care of them now. They're protected by God. Thank God. And thank Him. Because there's no way I could have them with you. Nothing's good enough for you. It has to always be your way. Well, they're good. And you can have it your way. Your wife and your daughters are dead now. We're all in heaven.
According to Elaine, not only were her children gone, but she was too. She stops the recording soon after.
Bet that. This is peak. Bet.
Despite saying this, the camera would actually start up one more time, where Elaine describes how she was still alive, despite having attempted to OD, which prompted her to call the police. When officers arrived at the home, both Serena and Sophia were found laying in her mother's bed, holding hands, and wrapped tightly in rosaries. Neither of them were alive.
Damn.
2 nights prior and directly before filming this message, Elaine had brought them both into the bathroom as it was time for their nightly baths. And once in the tub, she told them to play a game, one where they would place their heads beneath the water and blow out bubbles. When they did this, Elaine held their heads down, and she didn't let go until she was certain they were gone. This footage is some of the most disturbing that I've ever seen, as we get a glimpse into Elaine's descent into madness in the moments directly before she stole her children's lives. But all of this leaves one obvious question. Why? Well, it was noted during her investigation that the abuse she alleged from her ex-husband Leo seemed to be very real and well documented over the years, leading to Leo not being able to see his children for over a year, with this causing the two to separate, which is when Elaine's mind began to deteriorate. She began believing that people were following her and were going to kill her, with this fear of people eventually shifting to a fear of aliens, as she claimed to have seen them on numerous occasions, believing they were following her. Because of this fear, she refused to let her children out of her sight, not even allowing her own parents to look after them, causing her to become so attached to these children that she genuinely began to believe that they were all one entity, which made things incredibly concerning when she became suicidal and eventually attempted to take her own life. Despite Leo's more than troubled history, he had supposedly turned his life around in the years leading to this footage, and was eventually allowed to start visiting the children on a limited capacity. And seeing the children and seeing the way their mother was behaving, he began to grow incredibly concerned, and eventually attempted to gain full custody. And it was this bitter custody battle that seemed to be the ultimate factor that led to Elaine ending the lives of her children.
God's taking care of them now. They're protected by God. Thank God. And thank Him. Because there's no way I could have them with you.
Elaine Campione would be charged with 2 counts of murder and would eventually be sentenced to life in prison, with a possibility of parole after 25 years. Today, she's held in a minimum security prison, where she's free to leave once every weekend to attend church and other functions.
Hell no.
On April 18, 2010, a 39-year-old man named Gavin Collins was released from the HMP Ranby prison in the UK. His freedom would last less than 24 hours, as the very next day he suffered a severe mental breakdown, the result of which was captured partially across several video recordings that later appeared on YouTube. This is the story of his rampage. It began at approximately 9 a.m. in the city of Nottinghamshire when Gavin left his home. As he walked down the sidewalk, those in the area reported him acting strangely, muttering to himself that he was Jesus and that he was invincible. Without warning, he then turned his attention to a random home, which he forcefully entered, stole a man's car keys, and took his vehicle, taking off with no apparent destination. Inside the car, the owner just so happened to have 2 cameras, one being a standard dash cam and the other facing inside the vehicle, giving us a look at Gavin and his apparent mental state.
This is me. Jesus Christ, I'll show you how good a eyesight I've got. Hey, don't need this. Come on, let's go, bro. So, get rid of all that crap pairs. Let's go! Let's go!
Just at a glance, it's obvious that Gavin is completely unhinged. For some reason, he was utterly filled with rage, ripping off the rearview mirror and yelling obscenities and incomprehensible threats at no one in particular.
I'm enraged! I'm Jesus! I'm descendant of God! And you lock me up! Watch this! You
And most concerning of all is the speed in which he's traveling, as he starts driving faster and faster, swerving in and out of cars.
He's tweaking so hard right now. Hell no. Would you, like, if I went crazy, I keep yawning, my bad, chat, but, bro, hell no, am I ever doing that in my life? Look at him, he's going so fast, he's gonna hit something, he's gonna die, something's gonna happen, man, can't be trusted, cannot be trusted. Hey Trey, you still here, bro? I know 2 people left. I'm starting to get eczema. I have this neighbor who keeps yelling. I don't know if you guys can hear her, but she like yells through like the wall. I can't even do nothing about it. The 3rd chapter is the best so far. Oh, like the last chapter. What chapter is this? Oh yeah, the 3rd chapter. Yeah, facts. All right.
As he passes through busy residential areas, as he reaches speeds that have been estimated to be anywhere from 85 miles an hour to well over 120.
watch this now! I'm getting stronger and stronger by the second! Woo-hoo! Woo-hoo!
But somehow, despite countless close calls, every time he avoids collision, at least for the time being. In an instant, Gavin smashes the vehicle into a brick home at full speed, with the impact being devastating. And yet somehow, through the destruction, Gavin was not only still alive, but completely unharmed, and also completely unfazed. He pulled himself from the wreckage and immediately turned his attention to a woman driving nearby, and within moments he had forced his way into the vehicle, and was behind the wheel once again, continuing this deranged driving spree, until once again he crashed. And much like the initial collision, he survived, walking away unscathed before turning his attention to another random home. In pursuit of stealing his 3rd vehicle, he grabbed a nearby concrete slab and began to smash through the home's doors, bloodying his hand in the process, before eventually making entry. Inside were a mother and her 2 children, one of which was 5 years old, and the other wasn't even a year. Gavin approached the terrified family, yelling and demanding that the mother give up her car keys, telling her that he was Jesus and that, "Because I am Jesus, I will kill you if you don't give me the keys." And without hesitation, she did as he said. Gavin then went to each member of the family, and with his injured hand, he drew crosses on their forehead, out of his own blood, before taking off with his 3rd stolen car. Once again, Gavin was driving manically, though this time he was even more reckless, crashing into a brick wall and then a cop car, before setting his sights on a pedestrian. While speeding through a neighborhood, Gavin would see a man standing innocently near a bus stop, and for whatever reason, the sight of this man enraged him, causing Gavin to slam on the brakes and reverse the vehicle, stepping on the gas as hard as he could, and crashing directly into him, leaving him lying there with devastating injuries. Gavin quickly exited the vehicle and found the man lying motionless on the ground, prompting him to shout, "I've killed him. I've killed the devil." Minutes later, Gavin would crash yet another car into yet another home, though this time the police weren't far behind.
This way. I'll get him out. I'll get him out. Oh no! Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Do not move! Do not move! Get him up! Get him out. Get him down.
Finally bringing his disturbed driving spree to an end. The man that Gavin had struck was 87-year-old Terry Radford, a retired teacher whose injuries were catastrophic, with the man passing away soon after. According to his family, Terry was an incredible grandfather, father, and son. The footage is genuinely horrifying, but what's most shocking of all is the fact that any of this was even allowed to happen.
Alright, we're gonna change it. Everybody's leaving on me. So I got to change the video. Red rose, white ceiling. Down the rabbit hole.
Got dragged into one of the most bizarre South 32-like rabbit holes ever. If you see anyone respond to my tweets.
Welcome back. There's a lot.
I designed the internet's most viral iPhone case, and here's how. I randomly popped into my local pet shop the other day and couldn't help but caught my first ever pet. Turns out tried a bag-shaped tank like the ones the fish come in, but it felt cramped for the fish. A few versions later and we found the sweet spot, a shape that suited the phone and let the fish swim comfortably. Form Farm ran it in a clear resin. 12 hours later, the prototype was done. The screw cap had to be completely watertight. No leaks, no escape. After months of trial and error, we had one shot to transfer the fish. No idea if it would work or the fish would survive, but it did. Paired it with the Just to Chill guide trend and Jello's viral sound, and the result, 36 million views and an army of raging Karens. I designed the internet's most viral iPhone case, and
alright, let's see. Expo's more like a, he's more like a show.
That stand out to me. These are games that tell stories entirely horrifying. Experiences that'll stick with you long after you finish playing them. Grab that candy bowl, shut off those lights, and get cozy. Because this Halloween, you and I are returning to the abyss. Welcome, my friends, to the underworld of low poly horror.
Low poly horror, we watching this or what? Is you watching this chat or no?
We'll return after these messages.
Alright guys, before we continue, I'd like to talk about tonight's video sponsor, ZocDoc. Okay, so we've all been there, coming across a sudden ache or pain and doing that dreaded Google search, only to find out that we're gonna die within 3 months. Okay, maybe that was an exaggeration, but you get what I mean.
We watching this or what? Or what? Are we watching this scary video or not? Hold on. Let me know, in the chat, let me know. Red rose, white ceiling. We can watch another scary video. Not gonna bother me. Bet that. I just want a good scary video, like an actual video that's gonna scare me too, you feel me? No. Discord baby shower, what the hell?
Round 1. Round 2. Round 3.
Alright, let's watch this one.
I absolutely love discovering accounts and web series on platforms apart from the norm. In recent years, it seems almost like a necessity to document your life on what's probably the largest video hosting site on the internet, YouTube. Whenever I'm lucky enough to be recommended something that's on a totally different website, completely against where I'd expect to see it, I become insanely intrigued as it lends a bit more credence to whatever it is that I'm analyzing. Enter Security1275, a TikTok account of all things that's run by a security guard that's been experiencing some odd phenomena while at work on his night shifts. For the past couple of months, this guy's been showcasing his life on the app, all while unfortunately being met with what seems like a pretty aggressive haunting. Grab a snack, because tonight, we're diving into the foreign realm of TikTok to experience and dissect the odd mystery of Security1275. It was the night of July 3rd. I was just sitting around, scrolling through Twitter notifications because I was bored, and I noticed that, hey, what's this? A fan of mine by the name of Airplane MP3 had tagged me in a Twitter thread by a girl named Angela Chavez. This, as you might expect, shows us a few out-of-context videos by a TikTok user named Security1275. Here, we can join in on a short clip of a guy that seems totally startled by someone or something that's in this building with him. So you can get a feel of what this guy's hearing. Let's have a look real fast.
So, I'm actually hearing something banging on the door. I'm hoping I'm gonna catch this son of a bitch. Bear with me, guys. Okay, I'm back. Door was open again. Hello, security.
So this account's run by a guy named Josh. He's a security guard that patrols a local cemetery in Georgia, and during his work efforts, he's been accompanied by some eerie guests. The majority of the content on his profile essentially falls into the category of him living out his daily life, experiencing something bizarre, giving us follow-ups to it, and giving us general life updates. Also, he periodically makes references to his YouTube channel, where he archives his major TikTok videos and live streams. Now, Security1275 has over 75 videos at the time of writing. That's a lot. That might be a record for something I've covered on this channel. No, yeah, it's definitely a record. So we aren't dragging this on. I'm going to bring you with me through the major chronology and highlights of everything that's happened on the channel thus far. I absolutely encourage you to head over and follow him on, God dare I say it, I encourage you to make a TikTok account and go follow him because this story is definitely an interesting one that's gained quite a considerable amount of steam. With that out of the way, let's head back and check out his content. Now, this guy initially made videos on a different profile, so it's hard to gauge when he initially began. If I had to guess, I'd assume that he started in the ballpark range of mid to late June. Anyway, in one of his initial uploads, we encounter one that centers on Josh going out to visit the cemetery that he patrols at. He explains that he's out that night doing a routine checkup before he encounters his first sliver of strange activity.
What the hell? Hey, kid! Kid! Fuck that. I don't know where he went. This kid fucking running from me. Kid! Holy God.
What the hell?
Where the hell he went?
Oh hell no! The kid just took off. The kid just took off and disappeared, bro. That's crazy work. I would get the hell out of there so quick. You don't even understand. I would dip out. What do you mean? What is he? Why? I don't know why he investigated like 10 times more. He was like, kid. Looked around all the corners, bro. I was waiting to see something scary, bro. Hell no. He's tweaking. That's crazy work.
This kid definitely seems off. Absolutely refusing to turn around and being non-compliant with Josh, a chase ensues that ends in the kid vanishing entirely. Josh eventually seems to let it go and resumes about his normal patrol, albeit a little weirded out. Where did that kid go though? Why wouldn't he talk? And why'd he run?
That's creepy.
Let's press on.
This is supposed to be the most haunted cemetery in Savannah. And I am chasing a kid right now. I will not be going down that way. We just took this job like 2 days ago through the city. This is ridiculous. Somebody has definitely been walking behind me.
Needs a better flashlight,
I'm not sure.
Bro.
I just saw some tourists from Ohio. Told them that the place closes at 10. I'm about to head back over there, but I don't know. We've got somebody that's going to be buried here tomorrow, so I'll be doing an escort. Right now, I'm just...
Wait a minute. Did you see that?
There's no hand out.
Doing an escort.
Oh hell no.
Interesting. The kid's still poking around in the dark, and somehow Josh didn't notice that he was right there in plain view. Curious about this, I dove into the comments of this one and found that he actually didn't notice it until people started bringing it up. Apparently, he was looking in another direction when the light panned over the kid, and as a result, it was missed. Anyway, this could simply be chalked up to a prankster or trespasser that didn't want their face to be seen due to potential ramifications, so we can let this one odd instance slide. The next few videos are simple lifestyle and music uploads without much substance for us. Fast forwarding through this though, we jump to another night where he's on patrol. In this one, he's equipped with a flashlight and taser inside the pitch black chapel building, but here, something a bit more bizarre begins to take place.
Okay, I've got my taser out now, y'all, just to be aware. Fucking Jesus Christ.
In the video following this, he gives a bit of context. He explains that he was actually called out there due to reports of a woman screaming, and apparently, after his previous recording ended, he heard it again and got the hell out of there. A few videos later, we jump forward in time to some original videos on his new account. Josh explains that his old one was deleted due to him showing his gun that was on his hip by accident during a livestream, thus resulting in someone reporting him. With this in mind, from here on out, all remaining videos were shot as of the past couple months or so to the present. So up next, a few videos will be uploaded with his dog accompanying him. He gives us some backstory on where he works, which is the Colonial Cemetery in Georgia, and then proceeds to tell us that he's about to head back out there to ghost hunt. It turns out, though, the true reason he went out there was to check on his coworker, whom he claims is a younger guy that's one of his assistant officers.
I was gonna come by and check on him, and I can't get him to answer the phone. So this is a good time. If you see anything, this would be a good little video because I had no intentions of coming out here. I went up and checked on the other side, and I just don't know where the hell he's at, and he's not answering his phone. So I hope whatever the hell was messing with me in my older videos did not get him.
For some reason, while out there, he isn't able to find him, but this is later explained away when Josh gets a text from him claiming that he was off getting lunch. But with it was a strange bit of information.
I was actually just going to come by and check on him, make sure he was 10-4. But a funny story is, he said that he had PD out here earlier because he saw what looked to be a little girl was in the hallway when he drove by. When he went back, he didn't find anybody.
A little girl, huh? The few videos that follow this are general updates. In one, he shows off his security lights, and in the others, he explains once again the situation with his deleted accounts. In this set of videos that he presumably shot a couple days later though, we can see him going back to the cemetery on his day off in response to a few claims of vandalism by the groundskeeper. He explains that people were messing around the night before, and he was heading out there to secure the building so nobody else could enter. We then cut to a video that he shot inside of the building. He was in the process of taking care of business, but unbeknownst to him, he wouldn't be alone.
What is going on? I'm basically just securing all this stuff right now. Just making sure there's nobody in here. Anybody in here? Hello? Yeah, but listen, you got to get out of here. You're going to have to come talk to me, okay? Where you at? I can't see you. You're correct, so you need to come out, okay? You guys hear this? This is broad daylight. I don't know where this kid is. Where are you?
Could this potentially be that girl that his coworker mentioned earlier? Directly following this, we see him at a police station getting some paperwork regarding this. Apparently, a police officer had gone to check the place out as well, and caught much of the same phenomena on his body cam. While he hasn't released any of it for us, it definitely is something interesting to note. So, with the strange kid at the beginning, to the creepy voices at night and in the chapel, and the stuff that went down when he went to check on it during the daytime, all of it ended up leading to his coworker quitting. Done, he's out.
No, no.
And I wonder why.
Imagine being so scary. Like, imagine it being so scary that you get freaking fired because it's too scary for you to, like, handle anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's literally too scary for you to handle. And then the dude's like, well, that's too bad. You're fired anyway because... I'm getting tired, Chad. You see me falling asleep? I have to go. Sorry, take a shower, go to bed. Goodbye. See you, man. Thank you for stopping by and everything. Yeah, I'm about to go to bed and everything too, for real. Alright, man. Appreciate you, bro. Red rose white ceiling. Who else is here? No one?